We're here with VMI head lacrosse coach Brian Anken. And Coach, you guys were recently crowned the NCAA ground ball team champion with Virginia being close on the heels in that final game of the championship. 39.62 ground balls a contest. That's the first statistical championship in VMI history. Just talk about what that means to the program.
Well, I mean, it's huge for the program, and don't get me wrong. It's a great honor to be in the same mix with a team like Virginia. And I don't think there's a single player on this team that in a heartbeat wouldn't want to change spots with those guys and be playing the championship weekend. But for us to get to that level and for us to be able to compete at that level on a regular basis, we need to take some steps. This year, one of the biggest steps that we encourage and we challenge our guys to take is to be the hardest working team on the field every time we went on the field. And I think that's exactly what we did. You look at a stat like ground balls, and as a coach and a player, you preach it on a daily basis. From the first time you pick up a stick, that ground balls win championships. Well, we came up significantly short of our championship this year, but we certainly laid the groundwork for the direction that this program is going. And undoubtedly, that's a stat and that's a category that we expect to win every single year here. Great honor, great opportunity for us to really move forward, knowing that this is the first time that we've won something like that here at VMI.
Also, the team was number 2 in the country in total team faceoffs. Stephen Robarge became the second player in NCAA history to lead the country in faceoffs as well as ground balls. Just talk about his influence on the program, what he means to the team.
Well, I think the face-off unit as a whole. We treat face-offs, and Coach Mackin does a great job working with that unit. We treat face-offs exactly like that as a unit. And this year, that unit was number 2 in the country. I think we followed up behind Yale, who had a phenomenal year. We play a very good schedule, some great out of conference competition. Playing Virginia and Army and Navy and some of the heavy hitters out of conference, and it gives us a true test. Most importantly, I think, is it gives us an advantage every time we step on the field. There's a great confidence in knowing that we're going to win 65 to 70% of every face-off that we take, and knowing that we've made it a team effort. Guys like Stephen Robarge, guys like Chris Rossi, working together, making that a stat that we take a tremendous amount of pride in. Kind of goes hand in hand with the ground ball category this year.
Talk about that decision that was made at the beginning of the year or midway through the year, moving Rossi to the wing. Rossi, an accomplished face-off man in his own right. Just touch on how that dynamic played out with him and Robarge this year.
It's funny the way it works. Those two guys battle each other every day in practice. We have about 4 face-off guys that are all very good at what they do. At the end of the day, you got one of the best in the country in Stephen Robarge, and this year, the best in the country. And Chris Rossi isn't really that far behind, and in a lot of ways we'll end up battling Robarge on a daily basis. And you can't go through, and there's no way to justify not having Chris Rossi on the field. He is just an absolute ground ball machine, and he offsets everything that Robarge does. Plus, they have that connection of both being good face-off guys. They can read each other very well.
Another guy that came on extremely well in the middle part of the season, latter part of the season, was Drew Leonard on attack. Ended up in the top 15 in goals per game as well as shooting percentage. Just talk about his emergence on attack, basically from mid-year on.
Yeah, I think he hit his stride at the mid-year. I think some of the offensive adjustments that Coach Jacks made this year with that unit really came to fruition right there in the middle part of the year. We put him into a spot where he could be very, very successful, taking on a little bit more of a crease role. And in more of a finishing role and less of a dodging role that we had Drew play. And I'll tell you what, he just embraced it. And that's tough for some guys to do, to be taken out of a role that they're comfortable with, be put into a new spot. And he really hit the ground running right away and embraced that role and had a great second half of the season. But I'll tell you what, I think the things that he did in the first part of the year set him up to be as successful as he was in the second part of the year. And knowing that he's only a junior and we get a year to continue developing him, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch how he continues to emerge in that role coming into next year.
Drew was part of the attack unit the entire season, along with Keith Long and freshman Mickey Hoffmeister for majority of the year. Those 3 combined for 67 ground balls on attack. Just talk about how, every position on the field is important in winning the ground balls, even the attackmen who, did a great job riding this year and things like that?
Well, it's a stat that we keep the most track of. I'm not a big stat guy, and there's one we keep track of, and it's doing your part. The face-off unit certainly does their part with picking up their share of ground balls. The defensive unit has to do their part. Our goaltenders have a little bit of competitions over the defensive and goalie unit who's picking up more ground balls. And when we got a team that really embraces and finds a lot of fire off of the things that we do, with being so hardworking and taking so much pride in ground balls, the attackmen certainly want to share of that. And it's neat for me to see a group that takes so much pride in scoring goals and running the offense, to take that additional amount of pride in doing something that really doesn't happen anymore, which is riding. And I think that we ride as hard as anyone in the country, and I certainly think that the ground ball percentage and the amount of ground balls that our attackmen pick up show how hard we ride and how much those guys take pride in that category as well.
Final question, might be the most important one. What are you going to do with those plaques once we get them from the NCAA?
Well, we're going to show them to every recruit as they walk through. I think the biggest piece here is they're hanging up in the office is our guys need to understand that that's something that is going to be expected every year. That's the absolute bare expectation, is that we will be the best ground ball team in the country every single year, and we're going to continue to build upon that. This group that came in right now, this group that we've been working with since I got here in August, has really embraced the concept of being the hardest working team in the country. Now, as we move forward, we need to get better in a lot of other categories, but this category has got to stay exactly where it's at, because we expect to be the best.
Great, Coach. We appreciate your time this year, and we'll look forward to speaking with you next year.
Hey, thank you.